Yeah, so let's talk some golf here.
Yeah.
So I saw something come up, and I think this debate went down a little bit with his win last week in the Olympics. But after Xander won the Open Championship, I saw people comparing like, oh, who's had the better year? Is it Xander or Scottie Scheffler? Xander
Right.
with 2 majors. I think Scottie has 6 wins now and an Olympic gold medal. I think the answer to that is Scottie, but I wanted to see what you thought there.
I think if Xander won the gold, I think it would have been an interesting discussion. Scottie gave him the old not so fast, my friend, and came back with all 62, and I think ended that conversation. So I think you're right. Scottie, I mean, he's got a Players, a Masters, and the other tournaments he won were pretty, I mean, I think 2 of them were elevated tournaments in the Palmer and the Harbour Town, and so it's one of the best seasons ever. You know, take out Tiger for about an 8-year stretch, and it's pretty dominant. So
yeah, I thought that when he had a kid that maybe he'll slide off a little bit. It's like no, he's
right.
fine.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, good nanny or was
Right.
his wife taking care of things, but he didn't slide off. He didn't slide up there at all. It was cool to see Xander break through this year because he was kind of close on a lot of tournaments coming into this year, and then he. I think he got the PGA Championship where he just caught the edge of the
Nice
lip on the last
cup.
putt. But it's good. It went in. It just got to go in, man. It still counts no matter what. And then to come back and win the way he did at the Open. I mean, he looked pretty flawless there too.
Yeah, he obviously had a great summer, and he's been one of the best players. I can't imagine how hard it is to break through in a major, especially once you get to a point where you're supposed to have won one. Right? It's got to become just exponentially harder every year, and so it's pretty cool to see him hold off Bryson down at Valhalla, make that putt, and then. He probably had a lot of relief in the British Open and go out kind of freewheel and win that one. So 2 majors, unreal. But I think Scottie's got Player of the Year locked down.
Yeah, no, I think so too. On the flip side of this, Rory McIlroy, man, he just. I think it's in his head now. Like it's become a thing. Like
U.S. Open was brutal, wasn't it? I mean,
it was bad, man. I mean, I don't get. So the U.S. Open, right? Everybody got on him for missing the 2 putts, obviously. The first putt, I think, was on him. The second putt was way harder than I think people realized, that little one, because it moved so
downhill
much for
slider. Yeah, I mean, that one, I agree with you. I think the putt on 18 was harder. He bogeyed, 15 the par 3 as well, right? Then had the terrible putt on 16. So he bogeys 3 out of the last 4 holes. I don't know. I mean, it's got to be – he's got one of the best swings ever. He drives the ball better than maybe anybody ever. So to not be able to, finish, there's certainly a mental component there. And, I mean, the up and down Bryson had out of that bunker was
it was
unbelievable. But, yeah, I feel like Rory definitely lost it there with 3 out of 4 bogeys coming in.
Yeah, I still just don't get what it is with him. I think – clearly he's better coming from behind, like when he's not. I think when you put a bunch of expectations on him or he has the lead, at least, and again, this is more of a recent trend than anything else, but it's just baffling to me. And I don't know what. I can only speak to my own game, and when I get in my own head and I start hitting the ball everywhere,
right.
and that's just that
right.
the podunk course up the road. So to have that much pressure on, I mean, I would be terrible at it. But but I mean, what I guess I speak to that a little bit about the mental aspect of the game and how hard it can be, just from again 1 week to the next, and it's crazy to think the best golfers in the world, it happens to them too.
Right. Yeah. Well. It's I think Weiskopf had a line when Nicklaus was coming back in '86, and they asked him, "What's Jack thinking right now?" And he said, "I wish I knew, because maybe I'd have won more tournaments if I could think like him." So, I mean, obviously everybody does feel the pressure, and the mental component is difficult. And I think golf's one of the hardest games because it's just you. You're not reacting to somebody else throwing a baseball at you or a lineman running into you. It's just, the ball's just sitting there, and you got to somehow clear your head and be able to hit it. Obviously Rory wins. I mean, he's won FedEx Cups. He's won a lot of events around the world. But I think there's an extra level of probably self-pressure that he puts on himself to win majors. Tiger kind of, at some point, Jack at 18, and then nobody else was really in second with the number of major victories, right? I don't even know. Palmer had 6 and Watson had 8, but nobody was close. Then Tiger gets 14 in 10 years, and it's like, all right, now that 18 becomes a magical number. Rory wins 4 majors out of the gate. He's got 4 at the age of 20-something in 2014. And, now it's probably you start, can't speak for, but could see him starting to say, all right, I can get to 6, I can get to 8, I can get to 10. And then you go 10 years without winning one. And now it's like, how much pressure is he putting on himself to win just any major, and let alone, he's got to win a Masters to win the career Grand Slam. So I think it's more mental than anything at this point for him, because he's obviously as good as anybody in the world and has been for the last 10 years, but hasn't been able to win a major. So I can't speak to why. Probably Dr. Bob Rotella and some people out there a lot smarter than I am with the mental part of the game could give you a better diagnosis. But I think everybody feels it. I mean, and even as a player, I could tell you, some of the times when I felt the most pressure, playing in the USAM, I qualified for the US Amateur 1 year, got to a point where I had 3 holes to go and could have made match play, and I could still tell you the shot that I hit that went in the bunker that cost me going to match play. And I mean, it is a different level. It was a different level of pressure for me at that point, and that was to get to match play of the USAM. So I couldn't imagine trying to win a major coming down what you would be feeling. But there's a lot to it for sure.
Speaking of that a little bit, how do you, when you're playing and you catch yourself kind of, you're too much in your own head, how do you get out of your own head and kind of get out of it? You know what I mean? Like where it becomes mental, because I play pretty often and stuff, and every once in a while, I'll have a stretch where it's like, and it's weird. You like one bad shot leads to another bad shot, and then it starts getting into your head like, oh, don't, and then you over adjust the swing to go one way. It's like, okay, don't hit this fat, whatever. And then it's like, all right, well, I'm hitting it thin, and it's going, and I'm going too quick.
Yeah.
I guess, how do you, for your personal game, how are you able to kind of balance it and sort of get out of your own head to where you could just do what you're capable of doing?
Well, I think a couple different answers within that question. So the first part is, how do you get out of your own head just for shot 1? And on that front, I try to have a feel within my golf swing. I'm definitely more of a feel player than a technical player. I've always been that way. So throughout the week, or when I'm playing, if I'm hitting balls periodically on the range, I try to get a feeling that makes sense in my head, that I could feel in my swing, that then translates to good output shots. Sometimes it's, if I feel I can turn into my right knee at a certain point, I hit good shots. Sometimes it's, I feel if I get my shoulder behind, so whatever I'm feeling at that point, I try to have just one swing thought that's a feeling that I could try to feel in my swing, and then that's it. At that point, I'm just trying to say, turn into your knee. I guess the other part to that answer is, I try to remember good shots that I've hit in the past. I feel like I could visualize a shot, and I could try to look back, especially if I'm in competition, starting to feel a little nerves, trying to say, all right, similar shot to what I hit at this point, and remember that shot and how I hit it, and the hopefully good result that it was. So I think that's on shot 1. I try to have a feeling within my swing, and I try to just have good memories of shots that I've hit for similar shots to what I've got coming up. What you were talking about, I think it's even harder. Shot 1's not great. Shot 2's a little bad. And now it's like, oh boy, if the snowball's going down the hill, I think that's even harder. And you just have to, golfers have the incredible ability, really good golfers, to have a very bad short-term memory when it comes to short shots. Shots that you've just hit. And I think that's just the key. You've got to be able to somehow regroup and just pretend like it never happened, and go back into your routine for, all right, here's the shot I've got coming up. Here's the feeling I want to feel in my swing. And, I can remember when I hit a nice 80-yard shot to the pin tucked here, and, just try to have a positive memory, a positive swing thought, and start over. But it's definitely harder said than done when you hit a couple bad shots in a row.
If that doesn't work, just grab a 6-pack.
Also that.
Getting back to the pros here. So one thing I want to talk about is Bryson DeChambeau, I mean, what a 180 on his image over the course of the last year or so.
Yeah.
I mean, even going to Live, which he got a lot of flack for, as all the guys did that went to Live. But I don't think anybody has sort of remodeled their image so successfully as he has, because a lot of people hated him, and now he's got his YouTube channel. He's way more. He just seems way more personable. He's way more kind of humble. And yeah, man. I mean, what have you seen out of Bryson over the course of the last year, and how do you think he's kind of been able to sort of pull this off?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I agree with you. I think he's done a complete 180. He's gotten so much more positive, right, within the golf community. He was kind of the bad guy for a while. I mean, I don't know if it was the bulking up and the distance and then going to Live, and it was just like he was easily the villain for a while, and now he's definitely turned it around. I don't know. I think social media, access to the behind the scenes, I think seeing him in real life, I think Full Swing on Netflix. I don't know but I thought it was pretty cool to see the guys in real life.
Yeah.
And other than, I didn't think Brooks came off that well in the Full Swing, but
No,
some of the guys like Joel Damon and Keegan Bradley,
Yeah.
Seeing guys like that and what they go through, and it just really made me fans of those guys, being able to see them behind the scenes. And I think Bryson's done a good job at kind of giving the golf world more access to what he's really like as a person. And when you watch some of those videos, I mean, he definitely likes to have fun. He's an incredible golfer. I mean, you watch him playing one hole rounds, and he's got crazy just what he's able to do is pretty cool when you spend 15 minutes and watch him do it. So I think the access part is a big part of getting the golf world back on his side.
Yeah, wasn't one of them he broke 70 with a set of Walmart clubs on Walmart
Yeah,
clubs?
junior Walmart clubs,
Yeah.
right? He's trying to break 50 from the red tees. I mean, I'm watching this going, there's no way he could make eagle on every hole, but I mean, if he's within 300 yards, he's trying to get up and down.
Yeah.
It's like a par 4 for me, and he's at an iron to 2 feet and making. So it's pretty cool, some of those videos that he's got out there. And winning the U.S. Open certainly helped. But even after he won, I watched a video of him carrying the trophy down in Nashville. Did you see that when he was walking down the street in Nashville with the U.S. Like, you don't see that from anybody else. So I think that kind of stuff has really helped him a lot.
Yeah, I've argued for a while now, and that golf needs more characters. You know what I mean? It needs more personalities. I think with Full Swing, that's helped a lot. And Bryson is one of those guys. It stinks that there's that split still with Liv, and so you don't see the guys all together. But when they come together for majors, you do get to see everybody, which is always obviously a plus. On the flip side of stuff, one guy I see that's he's always kind of taken a lot of flack, and he's always been sort of divisive a little bit, is Jon Rahm, and he's kind of been the opposite of Bryson in a lot of ways. Like, I see him, and he's really it's just everything out of his mouth seems to be negative. Like, he never looks like he's having a good time. He always looks like he's pissed off at the fans. He's always just like, right. And I don't know. So he might need to take a lesson from Bryson on how to remodel his image a little bit. But yeah, like, I hear a lot. I mean, I would still like it if he was around. I mean, even if he's a dick, I'd like him to be around, just because the golf needs other characters, and he's another one. But yeah, what are some of your thoughts on Jon Rahm?
I mean, so I'm not a big fan. I haven't been a big fan of Liv. Much more in-depth conversation there, but he's one of the guys that I am disappointed that he went. I think that he was well positioned to build, a 15 to 25 PGA Tour victory career and be one of the best ever. The Spaniards and Seve have had a tradition of greatness every generation, and I think he was kind of next in line to take that over. So I was a little disappointed that he went to Live. I mean, it's a lot of money. I would have a hard time saying no to a fraction of that. But yeah, I don't think that he is super well liked. And I think for all the reasons he said, he just doesn't come off as a guy you would want to spend any time with, right? Like, at this point, I'd love to have a beer with Bryson.
Yeah.
I don't think I would with Jon Rahm. And I don't know why, but he does seem negative, and he's kind of always complaining on the golf course. And so, yeah, it'd be nice to see him, be a little bit more positive on the course and probably off as well, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see if he can't if he can't flip that around at some point going forward. But boy, it doesn't seem like it. Seems like every time I see him, even like I said, even in Live, he was yelling at the fans. It's like, dude, come on, like you chose to go there. Like this is what this is going to be.
Right.
They're going to be,
you know what it is.
Time.
It's going to be loud. Yeah. It's going to be a little crazy, and just you're going to deal with it. But yeah, I think Bryson's probably on the top of my list right now. And going back to Rory, I think Rory's still watching his videos. Like when they won at Zurich, I don't know if you saw the 2-man team event, him and Shane Lowry. Mm-hmm. They went into the tent afterwards, and he was singing Journey with the band that was having the party. Like that's pretty cool stuff. And they don't have to do stuff like that, but it's nice to see that and the interaction. And so yeah, I think Rory's still somebody I'd like to have a beer with, and same with Bryson.
No, for sure. So moving on to the Ryder Cup. So Keegan Bradley gets picked as the Ryder Cup captain. I think that was a surprise to everybody. It was a surprise to him, even too. When that first got announced, there was a lot of like, whoa, what is this? I loved that right from the get-go, just because I remember Keegan Bradley in the Ryder Cup. I think it's been, like, he should have been in it last time. He kind of hosed with the pick there. I think that was a little bit of a correction on that.
Yeah.
But I just remember him from the last time he was in the Ryder Cup and just how much it meant to him and how fired up he is. And I've been arguing all along the United States needs guys that give a shit about the Ryder Cup, because a lot of times it doesn't seem like they do. You know what I mean? Like, it seems every time they go to Europe, they get trounced, right? Or in recent years. And there's just always something, I think last time it was Patrick Cantlay and his hat, and we're not getting paid, and there was all that, whatever, all those rumors and everything else too. Whether or not that was true or not, I'm not entirely sure. But there's always seems to be kind of something that the United States does not embrace the team golf concept as much as the Europeans do. You know what I mean? Where these guys are trying to beat each other's brains out every week on the regular tour. But Europe, those guys get together, and they're great. Their team chemistry is great. The camaraderie is great. I think Keegan Bradley's the guy that can really help that for the American teams. But what were your thoughts on the pick?
I was surprised. I would say thank you, Netflix. I think that Full Swing, that episode where he didn't get picked and they had the call from Zach Johnson on it. I couldn't believe that they had that on the thing, but how devastating that was for him. Now going back to what you said with the team camaraderie and they just embrace it more, I understand Zach Johnson's picks. You got guys like Ricky, JT, Spieth, who are kind of like the core group who all get along well, who play together all the time. And maybe part of that was, hey, I want to have a little bit better camaraderie within the locker room, and by picking guys who are all buddies, they're all going to play well together. Who knows? But, going back to Keegan, I felt terrible he didn't get picked. I think he's a heck of a competitor. I remember watching him play. I think he got paired with Mickelson a lot in the Ryder Cup. So I'm in favor of it. I think I don't know enough about, like, can he play? Is he planning on playing? Like, can he qualify for the team and be the captain, or did he accept some sort of condition where he wasn't going to play to get the captaincy? I don't know.
I think he can. I think
he can play.
He can be a playing captain, and he said that he was going to try to qualify for that on his own, but he wouldn't pick himself. Like if he was like in one of the runnings for the picks, like if he got real close and didn't get it, if he was an automatic qualifier, he'll play. I think if he did that, it would be. I don't think you'd see him play a whole lot. I think you'd see him play on the final day in the singles.
Everybody plays singles,
and you might only see him one other time.
Well, they have so many
that.
vice captains now too, right?
Yeah.
I heard, is Jordan officially a vice captain? Michael Jordan. I think he was.
I think so. Yeah, he might. I mean, even just having him there, like,
right? I mean, it at Bethpage, I've got some buddies talking about trying to go up and see it, and I mean, it's going to be awesome outside New York. It's going to be rowdy, and I just feel like it's such a home field advantage at this point on both sides that, it would be an upset, I think, if the Americans won over in Europe. Last year they were favored in Rome. I didn't really understand that. And obviously it didn't work out that way. And I would be surprised if the Europeans won over here. So I just think it should be a great time. I think Keegan will do well, and he's going to have a number of vice captains. But I think you're correct. The team... Somehow Europe, especially over there, you get 12 guys that we didn't even know some of them, right over here. There were names that weren't that familiar to us, and they just play the best golf in the world every 2 years. And so somehow we've got to figure out how to do that, at least compete with them over there, because we've done well here, recently. But it's a great tournament, fun to watch.
I think they're going to be such a huge advantage at Bethpage. I can't imagine them losing that, just because that crowd is going to be so unbelievably
crazy,
rowdy.
Yeah.
Like, I can already see the Europeans just like being pissed off the entire time because that.
Can you imagine Jon Rahm up there? He'd be not happy.
What I did like about what Keegan said was that he was going to pick the best golfers. He didn't care what tour they were on, which is great, because I think there's I think Bryson, I think, is for sure going to be on that team. Unless he has some monumental collapse from here to then, which I don't think is going to happen. The other person that so you mentioned Michael Jordan as a vice captain. The other guy that I've been championing to be a part of the Ryder Cup at some point, because he's the only two-time major winner in history to never have been on the Ryder Cup. Do you know who I'm talking about?
John Daly.
Yep. Now, I think John Daly should be a part of that as a vice captain too, just because again, if you're gonna have, if we're gonna do the get the crowd riled up and that sort of thing. And John Daly's a guy that can keep everybody loose as far as in that locker room and everything else too. I think it'd be great to have him there, even just as a figurehead and just for somebody else to get the crowd kind of going. But yeah, what are your thoughts on potentially John Daly as a vice captain?
I mean, I think that would be a pretty cool pick. He was here in town. Last month or 2 months ago, I was lucky enough to get to play in that event out at the Lake Club and caddy for him on the par 3 hole.
Oh, nice.
And it was one whole thing that they were doing, and we got up to the tee. He kind of came out, no practice swings, no nothing. Asked how far it was, like 146. Like, I don't have a club for that. Took out a easy 9 and hit it to like this far from the hole. And then I said, "Here's your putter, Mr. Daly." He said, "I'm not putting." I said, "All right." But I mean, incredible golfer, incredible talent. 2 majors, like you said, a lot more than a lot of people who only have one, or one more than a lot of people who only have one. And I think it'd be pretty cool to see him there. I didn't know that I guess I had to think about it for a minute when you asked the question, but going back, I can't remember him ever on a Ryder Cup team.
The one year that he was the closest he got, because I think he won his
95 at St. Andrews, the British Open.
Yeah, and I think the other one was 91.
Yeah. So
I think and Ryder Cup used to be in even years, right? So he was winning majors about a year before. So by the time it rolled around, his as far as automatically qualifying, I think he was down. But he should have really that second time. I think it was
96 would have been at Oakland Hills, I think, in Michigan.
Whatever year that Hal Sutton was the captain, which might have been later. This might have been later on, and Daly won a couple times leading into that and didn't get picked because Hal Sutton just doesn't like John
That's
Daly.
The one that I was thinking of, was Oakland Hills in Michigan when Sutton was the captain.
I got you, and they got trounced.
They got beat bad. Yeah.
It was like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
But yeah, I would love to see John Daly there. I think the fans would love to see him there as well.
It'd be awesome to have him up there. Yeah.
100%, man. Well, you getting over to the bunker, man. So we have the greatest golfer coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
What's going on at the bunker in conjunction with the greatest golfer?
Greatest golfer, year 15. Todd Franco runs it, does an awesome job, and I was kind of lucky enough at the beginning to help form it a little bit. I was one of his committee members when he was putting it together, so I've been involved since the beginning. Just a special tournament for the Valley. It's really the only thing that brings everybody from all the clubs and public courses together for one weekend and gets everyone on the same course competing together. So I've always been a big fan of Greatest. At the bunker, we're doing a nice deal for everybody playing in the Greatest this year. So we have a $50 a month membership at the bunker that is kind of unlimited golf, which is Sunday at 5 p.m. through Friday at 5 p.m. So it doesn't include leagues if you're in a league, but you can come out, play, use the simulators, no charge, for those during those member hours. So what we're doing this year is if you play in Greatest this year, you've got you're going to get a form on the first tee, and you'll have about a week to sign up. If you sign up for the membership, it starts September 1st. It's a 12-month deal, and so it's the same $50 a month, but you'll get free entry into Greatest next year. So about $180 to $200 value based on when you sign up. So,
nice.
Yeah. So hopefully we've got 100 of those available. The first 40, actually, we did a deal with YSU as well. We're going to be the official home of the away games are going to be shown on our back bar at the bunker. So for the home games, we did a deal the first 40 members that sign up are actually going to get 2 season ticket packs to YSU football for the fall home games.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. So anything else kind of in the plans coming up with the bunker, getting into fall? Obviously, you mentioned, YSU. Any other kind of deals or specials kind of going forward?
You know what? From a golf standpoint, we're working on a new junior deal that hopefully we'll have a kind of sponsor in conjunction with to announce over the next couple of months that would give juniors access at a very discounted rate that they can come in and work on. It's kind of tough because right now our summer months at the bunker are slower, obviously, and the high school season just started. So, like, for the 3 months before high school golf starts, we don't really see the juniors. So, we need to do a better job at going out and getting in touch with the coaches, in the spring or even in the summertime, getting the juniors in, letting them come in and practice and gear up for the golf season, and then have a membership in place for once the golf season ends, instead of them putting the clubs away for 6 months. They can come out and practice at our place all winter. So hopefully we have that in place by the time the golf season ends. Other than that, we're redoing some of the bays. We've got all new screens that we put in and some new furniture that's coming in. We're going to decorate the bay kind of differently after local golf courses. I think Greatest is going to take a bay. And so we'll see. It'll look, hopefully a little bit different. But, yeah, I think the simulators have all been fine-tuned. I think they're all working right now and ready for a new fall golf season. Nice,
man. Nice. So if somebody wants to get in a league out of the bunker, man, how would they go about it? And are there sort of leagues sort of already set up that people can join, kind of getting as we get into the fall and the winter here?
So we do have a Monday night league in place. That's been there since we opened. So this will be our 3rd year doing the Monday night league. That's an individual. There's room for about 8 guys in that one. So another thing that hopefully we have an announcement within the next couple of weeks or so is a deal. There's a couple local courses that have leagues during the summertime, and we're going to make some specials available to, if you have a league at one of the local public courses that you either play in or run, we'll have some specials for you to bring that league to the bunker over like a 8 to 16 week season based on what the person running the league would want to do. And they'd have some special pricing if they can commit to that 8 or 16 week schedule. So if you have an existing league, please give me a call, stop by, shoot me an email, whatever, and we'd be glad to coordinate your existing league moving indoors for a small golf season over the wintertime. And if you just aren't in anything and you'd like to get in a league, I think that we'll probably have, in addition to the Monday night, we should have a junior league that we'll have signups for, which would be probably Saturday mornings again. And then we've tried to do a women's kind of scramble league and didn't really have much signup. So we'll probably try that again. And then we might do like a late night Friday league, like a 10 o'clock kind of in the dark with some drinks and stuff. So
nice, man. So in the bunker's not just golf too. Talk about some of the sort of the entertainment and food offerings that you have there.
Yeah, well, Double Bogies is our food partner. So they've got the original Bogies that's been around, I think, almost 15 years now. Great food, nice following. From a drink standpoint, we've got, I think, one of the biggest drafts. I think we've got 36 different drafts out there. So a nice beer selection, some nice wines, obviously mixed drinks, and all that fun stuff. So food and drink is covered. There's a lot of good stuff out there. So if you like to eat and drink and be merry, we've got different rooms and locations within the place for that. Emmanuel's Pizza has come on board with us, so we've got a nice pizza offering. He had a following in Austintown and didn't have a home there for a while, and we had some room, so we've brought him on board. So we've got Double Bogies with the food and drink, Emmanuel's Pizza. Larry Juergens has his pool tables in the back, so we took out the putting green and put in, got a bunch of different pool tables. I know he's starting an APA Players League. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I'm not a big pool guy. But I know that he's excited about hosting a league there, and we've got some kind of arcades and dart boards and just trying to, it's a big space. We're one of one. It's not like we're a franchise that has every inch planned out at 400 locations. So we're trying to just kind of analyze each year and say, what's going well, what's not going well, and try to get better, each season, hopefully. So this year, hopefully see some improvements on the inside. We've had plans and are trying to build a bar on the patio. So I think we're moving forward on that. It's just, in my mind, something should take a month and it ends up taking 3 months. But, I think we will have an outdoor bar. Let's say it that way. Hopefully in time for, end of summer and football season. It'd be nice to sit out there and watch some games and stuff. So a lot of good stuff happening. And if you haven't been there, come check us out. If you have been there, hopefully come back in and see some improvements within the facility and give us another shot.
Thanks, man. Well, Jonah, thank you for coming by, man. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you.